When Keanu Reeves stepped onto the set of the Steve Harvey Show, the vibe in the room was light. The crowd? They expected charm, some laughs, maybe a little Hollywood gossip. And Steve? He was all set to steer the chat with his signature humor and big-hearted energy. But the moment Keanu took his seat, and his eyes landed on the crucifix hanging from Steve's chest, something shifted. The tone, the energy, the reason they were sitting there. What started as a feel-good interview was about to go somewhere far deeper. Because within minutes, Steve Harvey wouldn't be the one asking the questions anymore. He'd be the one trying to keep it together. What Keanu was about to say, it would change everything. And it all began with just one line, one that no one saw coming. "Can I tell you something I've never said in public?" Oh, and before we get into this, where are you watching from? We love reading your comments. So tell us, we want to see your reactions. As the studio lights dimmed just a little, the crowd quieted. You could feel the anticipation hanging in the air. The usual theme song faded out as Steve strolled onto the stage, rocking that classic half grin, cue cards in hand, eyes full of warmth.
But tonight?
Yeah, something felt different. Steve felt it from the very first second. This didn't feel like a regular night of jokes and claps. It felt like something holy was about to unfold. With that warm, respectful voice, Steve introduced his guest, not just as a Hollywood name, but as something rarer. Someone whose soul people felt connected to, even without ever meeting him. "The media calls him the nicest guy in Hollywood," Steve said, met with cheers. "The internet says he's the last good guy left."
Me?
"I say he's the realest example of grace I've ever witnessed." The applause erupted as Keanu Reeves walked out, true to his humble style. Dark jeans, plain black shirt, simple blazer. No frills. Just him. He waved a little, smiled that soft smile, gave a quick nod, visibly uneasy with the overwhelming attention. But once he sat next to Steve, the energy changed again. Less stage, more soul. There was no rush. No act. Just presence. Keanu spoke quietly, almost like he didn't want to disrupt the stillness in the room. He thanked the crowd, then let out a shy, half laugh and admitted, "This kind of welcome always catches him off guard." "I'm just a guy trying to do his best," he said. Steve leaned in, grinning. "And that's exactly why you're special." They started talking, sure, some about movies, but mostly about kindness, about walking through life without armor, even when life gives you every reason to hide behind it. Steve brought up all the stories. Keanu giving up his subway seat, helping crew members, giving away pieces of his salary to support the people behind the scenes, makeup artists, stuntmen, camera operators. All true. But Keanu? He didn't see those things as heroic. "To me," he said gently, "it's just the right thing to do." And he spoke with this calm, grounded wisdom, not dramatic, not preachy, just real. The audience? Hanging on every word. "Everyone's going through something," he said. "Sometimes, the smallest act of kindness? It changes someone's whole day." Steve nodded, visibly moved. There was something powerful about hearing that from someone who had every reason to shut the world out, but chose not to. They started to dig deeper. How does someone like Keanu, who's seen such massive success, stay so humble? "I guess," Keanu replied, "I've always known none of this is promised. I've lost a lot. And when you lose people you love, when life shakes you up, you realize none of it makes you better than anyone else." He paused, eyes drifting just a little, maybe into a memory. "I moved around a lot growing up. Born in Lebanon, raised in Canada. My dad left early. My sister fought leukemia. I lost my partner. I lost a child. And yet, I'm still here." He looked up. "Every day's a choice. You either let pain harden you, or let it shape you into someone softer." The room? Silent. You could feel everyone taking that in. Steve, deeply touched, reached up to the crucifix on his chest, not to show it off, but like something in him was stirring. Something only he could feel. "You talk about silence like it's something you know," he said quietly. Keanu nodded. "It is. Silence has been with me for a long time. But in that quiet, I sometimes hear the clearest things. Steve leaned back, voice softer now. You ever hear God in that silence? Keanu paused, really paused, then met Steve's eyes. Yes, he said. I believe in something greater. I've questioned it, walked away from it, felt alone. But even in my darkest moments, I could feel something. Not always loud, not always easy, but it was there. Steve's hand gently closed around the crucifix. That's faith, he whispered. Even if it doesn't have a name. Even if it's just something you feel. Keanu's eyes flicked to the cross. His expression shifted. He leaned in, voice lower now. Steve, he said. Can I tell you something I've never said out loud before? Steve didn't say a word. Just nodded. Keanu took a breath. A long, thoughtful one. There was a night, he began. A few years ago. I was in a really dark place. Couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't move. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to be here anymore. The room was dead silent. I was scrolling through my phone, just trying to feel something. He stopped, breathed in. And I found a video. It was you. Talking about purpose. About faith. About how God doesn't waste pain. Steve froze. But it wasn't just what you said, Keanu added. It was how you said it. Like you lived it. You were wearing that crucifix, this exact one. And I remember thinking, this man believes in something bigger. Maybe I can, too. Steve slowly looked down at the cross. His fingers tightened. I watched that clip 3 times, Keanu whispered. And, the next morning, for the first time in weeks, I got out of bed. He leaned back, almost like the memory itself carried weight. I've never told anyone that, he said. But I've carried your words with me ever since.